When you think of a racing game franchise, Need for Speed is probably one of the first that comes to mind, and for a good reason. While not all of the games have been fantastic, there is without a doubt a few classics. The original Most Wanted, Underground 2, Carbon, Hell, even Pro Street, throughout the years, these games have become classics, but today we'll be talking about a game that in my opinion isn't mentioned nearly enough. This is the rise and fall of Need for Speed World. World released in 2010 as the first free and multiplayer only Need for Speed. The game quickly became a success, although the reviews I found for the game were quite brutal. We'll get to that. First off, the game map was pretty big as it combined the maps of both Most Wanted and Carbon, and there were a lot of different cars you could race. Considering the game was free and both Carbon and Most Wanted were loved by racing game fans, the game instantly became popular. As a kid who finally got access to the internet right as Need for Speed World started taking off, I really enjoyed playing it. The races and the cop chases were a lot of fun and the car customization was great as well. But unfortunately, there was one massive problem looming over the game. Unfortunately, Need for Speed World was a perfect example of a pay-to-win game. These days, when microtransactions are frowned on, I'm sure that this game would get some serious backlash, but back then, mostly we just kind of accepted it. I mean, you'd spend hours grinding to get some money for new cars and upgrades, but the serious problem was that after you reached level 10, you had to spend $20 to unlock the rest of the levels. Thankfully, that restriction was quickly lifted, but it never should have existed in the first place. Also, there were numerous power-ups you could use, such as nitrous, which would help you to win races or evade the cops. Not a bad idea until you realized that the only way to get them was to buy them with real money or get lucky and get a specific power-up by winning a race. So yeah, the microtransactions were shamelessly aggressive, but the police chases were still a huge highlight for me, as they are actually surprisingly difficult. Over the course of the next few years, the game got a few new game modes like Treasure Hunt and Team Escape alongside many new cars, but somehow the game never quite shook off the feeling of being pay to win, and while I had a lot of fun with it for quite some time, I eventually moved on to other games like CSGO and of course Racing Rivals. It wasn't all that shocking when in April of 2015 I heard that Need for Speed World would be shutting down a few months later. I spent a decent amount of money on the game, as did a lot of other players, but the game was just too outdated and pay to win to keep new players coming to the game. So the game shut down in July of 2015, and for a while that was that. Until a few years later, a fan-made project was launched that tried to preserve the Need for Speed World experience. The game was made for fans by fans, and best of all the microtransactions were removed. It was called Soapbox Race World. This is actually what you're watching right now, and if you miss Need for Speed World, I would highly recommend you give it a try, as it is absolutely free, but by spending €5 you can get pretty much anything you could ever want, like 20 million. Unfortunately, there isn't many players currently still playing the game, but if you want a racing game to play with your friends, I would highly recommend this one. In conclusion, while Need for Speed World isn't the best racing game of all time, it was a pretty good game that was unfortunately brought down because of its microtransactions, but Soapbox Race World fixes a lot of the issues that the original game had. In my opinion, this is in fact one of the best Need for Speed games that I have ever played. So, did you guys play Need for Speed World back in the day? Did you like the game, or was it too grindy for you? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.